So basically you announced the All White squad this morning to take on Australia in the Soccer Ashes next month. Obviously, headline there is Ryan Thomas being back in the squad. How good is it to have Ryan back for the first time since 2019?
You know, it's great. What an addition, bringing Ryan back into the fold. And you know, I've said in the media so many times, you know, we're waiting. You know, Ryan's never ruled it out coming back into the All Whites fold, and all he's ever said is that he just needs to have a good 6 months of injury-free fitness. You know, and he's at that stage now. And I spoke to him last week, and you know, he was keen to explore it, and was looking at, should it be now or should it be October when we're in Europe, and ultimately he said, I want to play against Australia. I've never played against them, and you know, I want to come back in. So you know, it's great for us.
So what do you think Ryan will be able to add to this group?
I mean, he's a very good footballer. You know, very intelligent, got great experience. You know, positionally he's quite flexible as well. I mean, he plays centre midfield. He can play holding. He can play a little bit further forward. So I think he's another great addition. It's like a new signing. You know, bringing in Ryan, or bringing back Ryan. But yeah, we've missed him. It's been a real shame for the All Whites that we haven't had the ability to use him over the last sort of 6 years. But yeah, hopefully now we'll see this more regularly.
So another name back in the squad is James McGarry. What has made you call James up for this window?
Yeah, Jimmy's, I've known Jimmy a long time, and you know, we obviously track a lot of players, but we actually called Jimmy up 2 years ago, and he got injured when he was at Aberdeen, and he got injured just before the window, and had to pull out, so that was a shame. He's since moved to Greece and then went back to Aberdeen, and you know, now he's found himself at Brisbane. So, you know, he's a player that we've been tracking, and I think it's a really good opportunity. I mean, he's local, so he hasn't got to travel, which is good. And I think it's a good opportunity for him to come into the environment, and we have a good look at him. You know, we've got some other players like Francis Vries and Libby that in that position that are quite flexible positionally. You know, both of them have played higher in recent windows for us. And obviously then we've got Libby that's carrying a slight hamstring. So, you know, he didn't play for his club this weekend. We'll still waiting to see how fit he'll be come the window, but you know, I think bringing Jimmy in made sense. It gives him an opportunity to show us and showcase himself, and we have a look at him as well.
So there's real competition for places now across the squad. How challenging is your job when it comes to pull this squad together?
I mean, it's a good part of the job, but also quite challenging. You know, a lot of my job, I get to watch football and watch highlights, and you know, keep up to date with where players are and what they're doing around the world, and that's great. But you know, then you get to where you have to pick a squad, and you know, I've got really good staff around us, so we have good conversations around all the players and the balance. And you know, every time we pick a squad, we prioritise the strength. You know, we want to pick as strong a squad as we can, but we also look at individually, you know, what's best for every player. And, you know, we've made some decisions this time round around that sort of thing. But, you know, then I have to have conversations with players, you know, around not being selected. And that's always challenging, but, you know, I just find being honest with them and talking to them, you know, and giving them that information from me is the best way, but yeah.
So obviously these are 2 games against Australia. What does it mean to come up against the Socceroos?
I think it's exciting. You know, it's New Zealand against Australia. You know, so I think in any sport that's going to be competitive. And you know, they're a good team. You know, ranked 24 in the world, been on a really good run. You know, qualified for the World Cup, and we haven't beaten them for 23 years. You know, and the last time we played them was in London 2 years ago, and you know, they beat us 2-0 that day, and yeah, we didn't really give them a game that day, you know, so there's a little bit to put right, you know, and now we've got them in a home and away scenarios, like a cup game, which is great. I think there'll be a bit of edge, bragging rights for a while, which will be cool, and obviously the Soccer Ashes is on the line, so it'd be nice to be able to hold that.
Awesome. Cheers, guys.
Cheers, Tris.